Hello everyone, welcome back all. So in today's episode of property management, I'll take you all through the documentation required to purchase yellow belt agriculture land in Karnataka. So these documents would more or less remain same if you try to purchase elsewhere in India as well, right? So in the previous session, we understood about the need and the finance quadrangle along with the documentation required to purchase green belt agriculture land, right? So in today's session, let's start understanding about the comprehensive list of documentation which is required to purchase yellow belt agriculture land in Karnataka. Correct. So here this was the need quadrangle which we discussed in the previous session. Likewise, the finance quadrangle. So along with the need and the finance quadrangle, we were also interested in looking into the location, documentation, advance and the registration process, right? So coming to the documentation process, here are the list of comprehensive documentation which is required to purchase yellow belt agriculture land in Karnataka. Like as I said, again, this documentation would more or less remain same to an extent if you want to purchase elsewhere in outside Karnataka or within India as well. More or less it would remain same. And here is the list of documentation, right? So first one is land title deed, grant deed or Saguvali Patra, right? So what is grant deed? Grant deed is nothing but any sort of grants which is given to the citizens of Karnataka, be it state government or the central government. Such would be called as a grant land or a grant property, and grant deed would be given against that. Then we need to definitely check for the grant deed or the title deed for the property what we are looking at, right? Then it comes the gift deed or the partition deed or the sale deed. We would need to check or consider the gift deed, partition deed or the sale deed. The next documentation would be sketch, which includes Pod, Akarban, Andar, Pahar, and then comes the mutation copy. Then we would need to have RTC copy, which I said earlier, it's record of right, tenancy and crop act, which is the most vital and the important copy to ensure that the land is actually in the name of the prospective seller or the vendor, right? Then after RTC, we would need to consider tax paid receipts, all tax paid receipts for the previous year and the current year. And then we would need to have a patta pustika or a patta passbook, right? Which is similar to the passbook of any bank, which includes the details about the land records along with the tax, whatever is paid against that particular piece of agriculture land, right? So that's patta pustika or patta passbook. And then comes the Vamsha Ruksha, which is nothing but your succession certificate or a family tree. And then comes our Akukulase Patra, which is nothing but our relinquishment deed. Then coming back, we need to have an encumbrance certificate at least for 18 years. Then we need to have a other copy of the seller. We need to have a valid PAN copy of the seller. We need to have bank NOC or NDC as discussed in the previous episode or the session. Bank NOC, no objection certificate or no due certificate is one of the most crucial important documentation which is being issued by any bank against the lien or pledge of a particular agriculture property to the cooperative societies or the banks, right? So in order to go ahead and make a purchase, before any purchases or a sale agreement, we should ensure that bank NOC or NDC is being taken care of or is being acknowledged, right? And then comes the latest boundary wall or a schedule or a village map, and then we need to have a land conversion copy, right? So generally for the yellow belt agriculture land, usually the sellers would go ahead and convert that or alienate that land to a commercial purpose in that case, or even for a residential purpose. In that case, we need to acquire or consider the land conversion copy, and that would be 911 or 11A, right? So we need to consider 911, 11A copy in case of any land conversion from agriculture land to commercial land, right? So that was with respect to the documentation which is required from the seller point of view. And from the buyer's point of view, in case if all those documentation seems to be deemed fit and if we are comfortable to go ahead and make a purchase, then definitely we need to have a sale agreement against the particular property with a respective tenure, amount as per the negotiation, and the seller and the buyer details. Along with that, we need to have a valid Aadhaar card and the PAN copy, right? So this was all about the comprehensive list of documentation which is required from the seller and the buyer point of view with respect to the yellow belt agriculture land, right? So once the desired land or property is registered and purchased, we can come to this official website of government of Karnataka, which is called as landrecords.karnataka.gov.in. It is state government backed website where you can check list of all documentation, registered documentation which is been uploaded to the sub register office, right? So here in this website we can look the updated registered copy which can help us to revalidate, re-verify that our purchase was complete, registered and also uploaded on the government website, right? So that nobody else can manipulate or resell our property. This is the list of details what is being given on the Bhumi website. You have a current year RTC, you have a old year RTC, you have MR is nothing but mutation records, you have mutation status, you have Kata extract, you have survey document. Also you can check the Akar Band in this particular website, right? So if you give the respective district, all these details would be given in the RTC copy. You need to give a respective district, taluk, hobli, village and the survey number. Once you click go on it, it will ask you for the survey number, hissa number and the period, right? So once you give the selected period, you go with the fetch details and you would have a list of all the registered RTC under your name, and which eventually it becomes a verified copy to you as well and a confirmation copy, right? So you can also pay the tax online itself without going to the local panchayat office. That's one of the best services what is being provided by the Karnataka government, right? So this was all about the online record checking, which is most crucial and important. Once the property is being purchased, it is most essential for us to go and check in this particular website to ensure that our land is being registered in our particular name or a prospective buyer's name and it's been uploaded to the government website, right? So that was all about the list of comprehensive documentation and verification process with reference to agriculture land purchase in Karnataka. In the next episode, let's check the detailed documentation required for plots or sites purchase in Karnataka. Until then, take care, have fun. Life without direction is a life without purpose. Thank you all.